stay as, you know, following the guidelines of social distancing, or still on the quarantine, on isolation of people on the world. We can learn about contentment by appreciating even the small things. Somebody said, writer or poetry. Socrates once said, he who is not content with what he has would not be content with what he would like to have. I'm going to repeat again. Socrates once said, he who is not content with what he has would not be content with what he would like to have. So that's why Apostle Paul wrote to Timothy, the young pastor, in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 to 10, that this is something you learn in the process of being a mature Christian. If we read this passage, if you want to read that passage in your own time, 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 to 10, it teaches something that we need to learn in the process of being a mature Christian. If we read this passage, we learn that if you don't learn contentment, it will eventually destroy you. If we are not going to learn about contentment, it will eventually destroy us. So take note, Apostle Paul did not say money is evil. Money is neutral, but the love of money is the problem. What it says? Philippians. It says in Philippians 12, the love of money is the root of all evil. Not the money, the love of money is the root of all evil. So that's the problem. Money is a neutral, but the love of money is the problem. Examples of people who don't learn and value contentment are Demas. In 2 Timothy 4:10, that the love of money, Demas is not content. And the Korathites, in Numbers chapter 16, verse 8 to 10, their jealousy, envy, wanting to be in power, in not being contented with what God has assigned them to do, it led them to their judgment. Jennifer Booth said, contentment is an attitude that says, I will be satisfied with what God has given me. Jennifer Booth is an author, Christian author, that he said, contentment is an attitude that says, I will be satisfied with what God has given me. We need to have that kind of satisfaction, what God is given to us. As we learn from the Bible, we see three things. There are three things that we're going to learn about contentment. To practice contentment, we have to realize that, number one, that we need to learn, we have to realize that it is centered on Christ. We're going to learn the three things about how to practice contentment. Number one is, it is centered on Christ. We need to have that kind of Christ-centered heart. As in Philippians 4:13 said, I can do all things through Christ. Isn't it? Is that? He said, I can do all things through Him who strengthened me. In other version. So, that points, that points us to the central figure in the concept of contentment. Jesus Christ Himself, at the same time, at that time of this writing, Apostle Paul was in prison at that time, and his life was in danger. So on that occasion, when Apostle Paul wrote this uh, passage, that I can do all things through Him. I can do all things through Christ. That is point us to the central figure in the concept of contentment. So Jesus Christ Himself, as the time of this situation of our life, on this we are experiencing on this moment of time that the world, the pandemic is experiencing. So we must have that kind of heart of contentment. Through Christ, we can do all things. Even though we are on something like our freedom now is not just like before, that we can go anywhere. But now, our freedom is controlled because of this pandemic. But we need to have that kind of contentment. I hope you all can understand that we, even though we cannot go around, we cannot gather together, we cannot, chit-chatting each other, visiting each other, we need to have that kind of contentment while we are locked in, or while we are stay at home, stay alert, and control the virus, as the slogan of England that they are promoting. This is the guidelines. Because they know, the experts, the scientists, they know that there is a danger. There is a danger of, seems like people is